Okay, good morning. We're up to Mem Vav Amid Beis. The Mishnah had stated that a person's Mud Hanami Chaveroi, and there's a merchatz in the town, but there's a merchatz that if the owner rented it out, he could use it, right? Provided that the owner does not have a tfisas yad. There doesn't have a piece of the action. So the question is, what does it mean, tfisas yad? So the Gemara will qualify it. Says the Gemara, 4 lines from the bottom. The common tfisas yad, Amar Rav Nachman, he gets a percentage, be it a half or a third of a quarter of the profits, so it's still considered he has ownership of the bathhouse, and thus the person who is not permitted to have enough from him cannot use the bathhouse. But less than this percentage, l'chora not. Then it's considered like just not considered an owner of it. He's not considered an owner of it. He's just getting a percentage. Abaye says, I feel b'botza, even less than this asa, even less this amount will be asa, and heki dami deshari, what would be permitted? The mekabel b'taska, if he gets a set amount for the year. So if he gets a set amount for the year, instead of getting a percentage, then he's not considered vis-a-vis him the owner, and therefore what he would be able to have hana. Okay, there's other gears about botzer. They used to sell eggs in the bathhouse. So the Ran learns is that Ram learns that tfisas yad is that if he has only has a share in the bathhouse, but because there's a share in the eggs that are sold in the bathhouse, that's not considered ownership to go ahead and stop the other person from having hana. Okay, the last part of the Mishnah was a person asked it on himself. He said to another person, he said, "Sadcha, my field, or Beischa, your field, or your house is also to me." And then the person go ahead and sell it, then it'd be permitted. That was the din. Again, a person went ahead and he made a neder to aser a person's house or field on himself. We said if that person then consequently dies or sells the house, where it's no longer the key word being the chaf, it's no longer yours, it would be permitted. However, if he said this field would be aser, this field would be aser, then even if the person would die or sell it, the field would remain aser. Now, this person is speaking with the person acid on himself. He's neither on himself. We know there's 2 ways that person can become asa b'hana, either being it upon himself or an other individual who says you're asa b'hana. So here's the following shaila. Boy avini, koinem lebayis zeh she'ata nichnas. He says koinem, it's a koinem, this house that you are entering. In other words, he does not go ahead and ask it on himself. He asks it on another individual. So he's asking this house on another individual. So Mahu, what's the din? Adam asa dava shebeshusai l'chashiyatze beshusai. Can a person asa something that's in his rishus when it leaves his rishus? In other words, right now, when I say it's asa, it's okay because it's in my rishus to asa it. But however, once it leaves my rishus, maybe even though I said bayezeh, it's not. If, in other words, I sold it or a person is no longer in this world, then even though it's the bias zeh, remember, our Mishnah was on me. He was noid on himself. Here's being noid on another person. So granted, I can ask it on another person. Can I ask it on another person when it's out of my jurisdiction? Can I ask it from another person when it's out of my jurisdiction? So the Gemara says, Amarava says to Abba Tashma. A person says to his son, Koinim shi'ata nenesli, koinim that you won't have enough from me. Before the father says that, the father consequently dies, Yershenu, then the son would inherit him because it was only asa when the father was alive. However, let's say b'chayav v'moso, he asks it when he's alive and when after his death. Now, after his death, it's no longer in his rishus. However, umeis lo yershena. Lo yershena doesn't mean he won't inherit it. It means he'll inherit it, but he won't be able to have enough from it. So, what do you see? Despite the fact the father is no longer in this world, despite the fact it's no longer in his rishus, a person's capable when it's in his rishus to aser it when it's out of his rishus. So who are din le'inyan hashayla over here, where a person went ahead and said this field is aser, and the person consequently is no longer involved with the field, it would still be aser. Shmamina adam meisedava shebrishusay l'chashiyatze b'shusay. A person has the capacity to aser something that's in his rishus when it leaves the rishus. Shmamina, the Gemara says what it is in fact what it is a very, very good raya. Shmamina is a very, very good raya. Okay. New Shaila. Tanan Hasan. Okay. The Mishnah is on Nun Zayin. I think the Mishnah is on Nun Zayin Amid Aleph. I think it's very good to go there simply because the Mishnah there, jump ahead to Nun Zayin and Aleph. I know the art scroll is going to be there because I know you just got a new volume 2. It says the Koinim Peiris Elu Alai. These Peiris are Koinim on me. I'll pick Koinim Heim Al Pi, they're Koinim, they're carbon LP to my mouth. Koinim in Lefi to my mouth. Then Aser Bichilufayim, you'll be Aser in their literally switchings, Ubegudulayim, and in their growths. What does that mean, Chilufayim? If you would sell it and now you have money, if you'd barter it and now you have something in exchange, that would be Aser. Ubegudulayim, and if you would go ahead and plant the seeds, it also would be Aser. So in both cases, it's Aser. Says the Ran, why? Let's see the Ran. Top, second line down. Since he went ahead and explicitly stated, Shavinu Aleha Kehegdish. When he said Koinim, he went ahead and he made it like Hegdish. Since he made it like Hegdish, Mitzvah B'chilufayim Ugdulayim, it'll be Aser in its exchange or its growth. Just like in the case of Hegdish, anything you bought it, you exchanged for Hegdish, or you plant from Hegdish is Asa. It's not comparable to a person who makes stam and neder from not having enough from figs or grapes. Since he didn't explain the whole all fruit, then it's not like Hegdish. Only that particular min. Therefore, it's not asa in the exchanges. So basically, what we have to know for this Gemara, that the lashon of koinem makes it like Hegdish, and just like Hegdish, anything you bought it from Hegdish, or anything results as the growth from Hegdish is asa. Who adin over here, it would be asa as well. So says the Gemara, Tanan Hasan, we learned over there. Koinem peris elu alai, koinem heim al pi, koinem heim lifti, asa b'chilufeyam would be asa in the exchange. Okay, that leads us to a shaila. Boy Rami Bar Chama. Amar koinem peris elu alai, right? Pliny. Koinem peris elu al pliny. So what's he doing? He's asking not alai. I read it wrong. I'm sorry. One more time. Boy Rami Bar Chama. Oime koinem peris elu al pliny. He is asking peris on so and so. In other words, this is similar to the shaila before of bayezeh, this house on another person. Right? So what's he doing? He's answering these payers on another person. Mahu b'chilufeihem. What's the halacha regarding their bartering? Now, clearly, the geduleihem is not a shaila, right? It didn't say what's the din by the exchange and what's the din in its growth. Clearly, the growth is asar. The Rishonim in the Rush says openly the gedulim would be asar. The shaila over here would be what's the din in exchange for this. What's the din in this exchange? Now, when he says, guys, koinim, he makes this asa bana on this guy. These peiris are asa ana on this guy. So really, if we want to extend the shaila, we can extend it beyond the scope of Nedarim to a simpler shaila. Any isser hana, can you go ahead and use this exchange? Isser hana, let's say it's avodah zara. Is asa b'hana. Chametz and Pesach is asa b'hana. Can you use the exchange to chametz and Pesach? Can you use the exchange to avodah zara? So therefore, the same thing over here. You made this asa b'hana. Can you use the exchange? So it's really not a Nedarim dika shaila. It seems to be a universal shaila, not limited to Masechta Nedarim. So let's see the Ran. Koinem boy running bar Abba. I don't know how far. About 100 lines up. No, I'm saying boy Rami bar Abba. Koinem peres elu appointing al b'chilafeyam. Lav b'koinamas bilachud kami boyle. We're not only asking the shaila regarding koinamas, the question of neda that I asr al yedei koinam. We're not limiting the shaila to that, fellas. Right? It's a universal shaila. All isurei hana. What's the din regarding the chilufeyim? V'hainu demaisi lekaman, and therefore we're going to be pushed later on at the end of the Gemara. Toshma me'amagdish ba'arla. Someone's mekadesh nisha with isurei hana. The first 3 years of a fruit-bearing tree of its life is asa b'hana. So therefore, when we push it from there, you see it's not a din that's limited to kainamis. It's even extended to stami surya hana. So says the Ran, it's not a kainamis nedarim dikadin. It's a universal din b'chalet harakula. Can you use the chilufei the exchange of isuri b'hana? The lav l'chalif and l'chachila miboile, and vada it's not a shayla l'chatchila whether you can do it or not. The vada kol shu asa b'hana, anything that's asa b'hana, asa l'maichrai, you're not permitted to sell u'lechlifai, nor the what you you acquire in the sale. The if you don't say that, mitzinu damin l'chametz pesach l'shara niskol shiach l'maychel erev kechavim. But my tenan shagoyzel patim and atashlumin. Fellas, you can't go ahead and sell chametz. It doesn't have any value. A shara niskol doesn't have any value. If a shar is, you got a psak halach on a shar, it gored 3 times, or an avera was done to the shar, and Bezdin went ahead and said this shar is going to be killed. The shar now is called Isuri Hana. If a person kills that shar, is pata. If he damages that shar, is pata. Why? Because it has no value. But if you are telling me Isuri Hana, you in fact could sell lechatchila, why does the shar have no value? Why does chametz have no value? In other words, the Ran is using chametz and shar niskol as an illustration that you can't say lechatchila that Isurei Hana has value. It doesn't, because we know you're not supposed to sell chametz, and you know you're not chayav for a shar niskol. It's a very good, it's a very beautiful deher. So therefore, what is the shaila then? Continues the Ran. Elevada pshita, guys. Vada, it's obvious. The lechatchila asa. It's vada lechatchila asa to sell Isurei Hana. If you did go ahead and sell it, that's the shaila. That's the shaila. In other words, the shaila is, can you use it or not? Can you use it or not if it's done? You shouldn't do it, and it really shouldn't have value. But if you do it, what's the din? A little more in the Ran. Right, and to another person, it's not a shaila. That pshat, it's pshat that it's muta. That on another person, the ein lecha toifus says dom of elavayis kechav mishvias. Ma'im not no ma'isla bereish kulin. Chamshus toivi avera achar pesach muta. In other words, this Israel of another individual, not that's asa to you, of another individual. Here's the suffix. Right, and the shaila is v'havi ikas sveika mi amin and the chitnam maslisin asbech l'feim gleim hainu mishum shekavanas anoide bekach. That was his kavana. V'mishum kavanasa who dafka noida oiseratzim bekach. In other words, what was the person's kavana when he made it? Did he want to make it just asa on himself, or he wanted to make it asa kuli alma? Okay, I think we're getting a little carried away. Okay, anyway, l'chela pachas. We have an interesting shaila over here. What's the halacha of chilufin of Isuri Hana? And all the shaila is a b'diavad take a shaila, not lechatchila take a shaila. Lechatchila you shouldn't be able to use it because it doesn't have enough. Nachama, tashma. Koinim peres elu alai, koinim heim alpi, koinim heim lefi, asibich lefeim v'lheim. That's when he went ahead and asked it on himself. But boy, roim barchama, oma koinim peres elu al ploini. He's asking on another person. Ma'u bich lefeim. Now the giduleim is clearly asa. Me, I mean, and do we say gabe delay fail of adam oisa paris chaveru alatzmoi? Do we say since a person can answer the paris of a paris on himself, I can answer Heshi's paris on myself. Adam oisa davar shlei bola oilam alatzmoi. A person can answer something that come to the world. It seems that chilufim is considered a davar shlei bola oilam. You might think that the thing exists, right, guys? Classic davar shlei bola oilam is what something that doesn't exist. So you might think the following, that this object, the chilufim, does exist because this is in the world. And the answer is no. The chilufim, what you're going to get for this is considered not in this world. So now here's the shaila. Do we say that a person can asa, just like he can asa the paris of somebody else on himself, so too he can asa davar shlei bola oilam. In other words, something that's, I have power in my words. I can asa something on myself. I can asa something that's not in the world on myself. So therefore, I can't asa Lenny's paris on Lenny. So too I can't asa the chilufeim on somebody else. I can answer on myself, but what am I answering over here? These payers I'm answering on so and so. So maybe I can't answer on so and so because just like you can't answer payers chavero chaveroi, so you can't answer chilufayim, which is not in the world, on your friend. So if you say payers ze alai plainly, what's the din chilufayim? The chilufayim is not in the world, and you're asking what these payers on so and so. What's the halacha? Do we say that what you can't do it? Like Dilma mishum the chilufin kigedulin dami, right? Maybe chilufin is kigedulin, and therefore you won't be able to do it. So again, the shaila being, you're saying that these payers are koinim. What's the din in the chilufeihem? Why should there be a tzad that it's muta? Because I don't have the capacity to ask something that shlaba olam chaveroi, and the chilufin didn't come to the world yet. Or do we say the chilufin is like the gedulin? Just like the gedulin is asa, so too the chilufin is asa. So Amar Rav Achabar min Yumi Toshma. Let's see place the shaila. The guy basically is telling his wife, "You can't have enough from me." Now he's meshubah to take care of her, and he's not. So what does she do? Loiva, she borrows money from someone. Ubal chayv boy nefrayin. The bal chayv can now collect from the husband. My time about chayv and nefrayin. Lav mishum dechulufayim. Lav kegedulin dami. What's happening over here? She goes ahead and she is borrowing money from someone. That's not a problem. She's able to borrow money from somebody. But that borrowing money from someone is going to go ahead and cause the husband to go ahead and pay it up. She's asa to have hana from her husband. So obviously, if the husband can pay it up, it must be chilufin are permitted. It must be chilufin are permitted, right? Over here, what's the chilufin? The chilufin is the money that the husband is going to pay the other individual. He's not paying her. He's paying the malva, the one who lent her. Okay, so let's be poished shaila that chilufin are not kidulim, and you can have hana. And the answer is, before we get to it, this is not your classic case. Over here, the heter is coming before the chiluf. What's the chilufin over here? The repaying of the loan. The loan that initially took place, that was okay. Maybe when the chiluf comes after the loan, then it would be permitted. But if she would go, but have hana directly from the chiluf, not a secondary hana. The secondary hana is she had the first hana, she borrowed the money. Then the chilufin came and paid off the loan. Maybe there it's permitted, and that's what the Gemara says in a very ambiguous lashon. Rava dilma lechatchilahu deloy. Maybe lechatchila not the ovid. Again, the Ran explains it's not lechatchila b'di'eved. It's more a shaila like the order of the chilufin. The shaila is, can I have direct hana from the chilufin? Can I go if something that's usher to me? If I exchange it, can I use it? Over here, the exchange is coming after you already used it. I used it first by going ahead and borrowing money. Then the exchange took place because the husband paid it off. So therefore, you have no bearing on a shaila. A second attempt, elatoshma, and this is the Ran's raya that we said that we're not speaking here about. We're not concerning here with a Nedarim shaila, but more a general shaila about what, whether a person is able to go ahead and have hana from the chilufin of Yisureina. A magdish ba'arla, if a man is magdish ba'arla, is kaddish isha ba'arla, he goes ahead and says, he goes to his tree, it's the second year of the tree, it's also ba'ana, takes down a nice piece of pomegranate, goes over to a woman and says, Yimukudeshes, leave with this pomegranate. The halacha is in Yimukudeshes, because it's also ba'ana. A person can be magdish with something that is also ba'ana. It can be magdish something that's also ba'ana. Machran, if you will go ahead and sell the arla, you sell the arla, the kiddush b'demeim harizem kudeshes. So l'chayra, this is your classic case of chalipin, right? The money that you have now is the chiluf, is the exchange for the pomegranate, right? And now you could use it. So l'chayra is replaced shaila by isurei hana. One is permitted to go ahead and use the chiluf and use the exchange. We pay the shaila. And for the Gemara, hachanami lechatchilahu deloy be ovid. Again, this is a case of the same lashon, but for a different reason. This is not chilufin, guys. This is chiluf the chilufin. It's to remove. The first chilufin was what? The actual sale of the pomegranate. You sold it. The second chilufin is when you used it to mekadesh and isha. I want to know one step, right? I want to know one step. Over here, it's two steps removed. One, you sold it, and two, you mekadesh isha. Ken Zayin, the reason why it works, it's chilufin the chilufin, but enochinami chilufin would not work. So we attempted to be poshet the shaila one of two ways. We attempted to be poshet the shaila where a husband paid back the choiv of his wife with the chilufin, and we said that's not a good raya because the chilufin's coming back to pay back something that was mutter. She's mutter to go ahead and borrow from someone, and this is shibud the Reb Nassim. If A owes B and B owes C, then C can pay A, right? That's the way it works around. Good. So the same thing over here. So she owes B, the malva, and C owes A, and C owes A, so C can pay B. That's really what happened over there. So, but that took place, the chilupin took place after the initial halva of the woman, which was permitted. So that didn't work. We then tried a second attempt to, again, as the Ran spoke out, to be poshet a shaila, be surya hana, not just a limited, lo b'kainomis bavad was the lashon of the Ran, not b'kainomis alone, but even extended what to any surya hana. B'di'evet, could you do it? And we wanted l'chatchila, we said you can't, but b'di'evet, could you? We saw l'chatchila you can't because the chametz of Pesach shor and niskol, and certainly you're not able to sell your chametz to a guy, and certainly you're not able to go required to pay for a shor and niskol because they have no touched woman. And the whole shaila was b'di'evet. So we want to be shaila, be poshet the shaila from a person that's magdish and isha with the money he obtained from what? From Arla. Again, are you allowed to sell all mekadesh ish with Arla? No. That would be having hana. If you sell it, you now have money. That's chilupin of that. Can I now get any mekadesh nish with that money? And the answer is, if you do it, it works. So let's be poshet a shaila that you could use. And the Gemara says no. That's chilupin. The first one was the actual sale. The second one was the act of kedushin. Okay, I wish everyone a great day. Thank you for listening.